What up? What up? What up? What up? I don't want to talk about this PNB Rock thing. For one, I'm a civilian. I've never been a gangster. I've always stayed away from that life. I've never been like a rapper, just like rap music and wrote down my little bit of whatever. Uh, you know, I'm not a street dude either. So somebody says, well, what do you know about it? Here's what I know. I am a watcher. I am sit by and observe all that's going on. When it comes to the streets, I've always been this way because I'm from the hood, but I'm not a hood dude. Like, I don't do what normal hood dudes do. I don't smoke weed. I don't, you know, not into all the violence and talking about each other, and I don't get off on that and just those type of things. I don't carry. I don't do any of those things. Although you don't have to be a hood person to carry nowadays because it's kind of recommended. So yeah, I'm just a regular straight laced dude. I don't smoke or drink or anything like that. But here's what I'm saying. I've watched the same things happening over and over and over, and I'm in my 50s. I watched rap go from being one of the greatest things that ever happened to the world because rap is worldwide. Hip hop is worldwide. Every culture is doing hip hop. You don't even got to know what they're saying to know that it's hip hop. Everybody's shaking their head to it. We have no idea what you're saying. Like that one song from India about a cat. It's like we had no idea what they were saying, but then this chick from India gets on TikTok. She's like, this song y'all like so much. It's about a cat falling in love with another cat. We're like, okay, so what? It was dope. So, there's hip hops everywhere. So I watched it go from just being something that black people did to something that everybody does because everybody has some type of hip hop vibe in their culture. Then I watched rap come out in the 90s. And I watched, people come out like NWA and those guys come out and the destruction that they put on the planet was just, it's still going. The Crips and the Bloods went from groups of people trying to protect their own hoods and their families and doing good in the hood to somebody who is menacing. Crips and the Bloods wasn't always like that. They were started by people who decided, they wanted to help out their whole families and their hoods and everything. And it was like a community thing that they had going on. And next thing you know, this music that is being pitched to us by the Jewish people. They even had a documentary about it. They said, we heard, all the positive music like the KRS-One and Queen Latifah and all those people were putting out. And they decided that it was boring. Poor Righteous Teachers and Tribe Called Quest. They're like, no, all that's boring. All that African, uplift, Marcus Garvey type of stuff. The Jewish people took control of it and said it's boring. And when you listen to some of the people talk about the industry, they'll tell you who runs the industry. They'll tell you, all especially when it comes to your publishing. You can start your own record label but when it comes to publishing, especially back then, not now so much because the internet can be a publisher. But when it comes to publishing, Arista and all those people, Jimmy Iovine and all those guys are the ones who control all of it. Even companies within companies, you think that one person is controlling it, but there's a whole nother gatekeeper there that says what goes in and what goes out. So the Jewish people decided that they wanted to pitch this violence and change the culture. And now you have, calling women bees and, black women don't like black men and all this separation that's going on. It's because of the music. And there's a lot of other things, but mainly it's because of the music. So now you got these different sets of Crips and Bloods that are out there. And, of course, when crack hit, everything just went to pot. It was no more we're for our community. And it's like we're against this group that lives on this street. Crips against Crips, Bloods against Bloods. And the whole thing just went shot to hell. It didn't help that, Ice Cube and Snoop Dogg and a lot of those people, they were putting out music that was just straight up for, icing people, and you hear a lot of this music and it's still being played and regurgitated. Even today, a lot of these TikTokers are using, slices of music from these people who created it back then, and they're, making their little songs about it, but it's the same evil being pitched over and over and over again. And there are some places that you just can't go. Now, for people who are in rap, and in hip, especially rap, not so much hip hop, because hip hop doesn't really do this. You didn't find hip hoppers running around with big gold chains on for the majority of the time. There was like maybe one or two. Slick Rick was one of them, but he was known for that, but he stayed hip hop, but he was known for that. Slick Rick wasn't putting out songs to go out and do people in. He was talking about people who were getting done in. Slick Rick had a song called I Shouldn't Have Done That, and it was about a woman who committed suicide, a black woman who committed suicide because she couldn't have the man that she wanted. Like, this is the stuff that was helping us out because we didn't know about this stuff, you know what I'm saying? And he, Slick Rick, one of his famous songs is about the boy who was running around robbing people and the cop shot him. Which is a story that we all knew. That's hip hop, you know what I mean? But you didn't have a lot of hip hoppers running around iced out. You wasn't going to find poor righteous teachers iced out. You wasn't going to find Professor Griff, and you wasn't going to find those guys iced out. They were, it just was more natural wares that they had, and they were making your community aware of what's going on. It was a lot safer back then. But when rap came out in the 90s, it just destroyed everything. And all the way up to now, you have these groups that have totally imploded on themselves, and they're just killing at will. And it's not even safe for people to go, and black people, to go into these neighborhoods that they once knew. A lot of rappers can't go back to their own homes. You can't, once you make it in a rap game, you can't go back. Hip hop, totally different. Rap, you can't go back. Young Dolph went back, got shot down, going to get some cookies. We see this story over and over and over again. And now rappers are starting to come out and saying, listen, the reason why some of these guys are getting shot down, it's the music industry that's doing it. And you're like, well, we know it's the industry. They're like, no. There are people putting out hits on people who are independent. They're putting hits out on some of these guys who decide they want to be, completely independent, or they drop their label, they want to go their own way. There are hits being put out on these people. And when you start looking at it, you're like, okay, well, who had their own label or was doing their own thing? I don't know if Nipsey Hussle had his own label, but it was just strange the way he got taken out. Young Dolph, he claimed he was independent. He got taken out, and I'm not sure if PNB Rock was. Some of you guys may know better than I do, but when we start unraveling his story, now there's talk about him being independent and so on and so forth. So there's that conspiracy theory that's out there. But with the main thing that people are talking about is what PNB Rock had on. There's two things going on. It's what he had on and what his girlfriend did. And you, for one, you come out in a G-Wagon. I think he had a really nice car. You go into an area that is, it's a rough area. There's a lot of poor people there. And you go into a well-known place that it can go down in, and you sit down and eat. They were like, this dude should have never sat there. He should have ordered his food to go. And they're like, well, he was living out there in LA, so he felt comfortable in that area, even though the man was from Philly. No matter where you go, if you're wearing thousands of dollars worth of jewelry and you're shining, you got a pretty girl with you, beautiful woman with you, you got a nice truck, all eyes are on you. We've seen this over and over and over again. We just seen it happen a week ago with Duke the Jeweler. He was hanging out with Boosie and Jay Prince Jr. When he was hanging out with them, right after they got the concert, because Bootsy had a concert, right after the concert, Duke the Jeweler was on his way to his ride. Duke the Jeweler had on thousands of dollars worth of chains. Had it on him, plus they were gambling. There was nothing but hustlers around there, and they were all gambling. So he was flashing money, plus he had all these jewels on him. Listen, the person who murdered him was at that table. There's just no doubt about it. And there's video of it. All you got to do is go around and look at the video, and you're going to see the person who murdered him was probably at that table. 10-1, he was in close proximity of him because they was watching him. They was watching him flash his cash. And as a watcher, as a civilian, as somebody who's never been a gangster, who's never been in that life, but have seen thousands of brothers die, I was wondering, why would you do this to yourself? Why would you? I know you're Duke the Jeweler, but why would you come out shining like that and not have anybody with you? Like, why wouldn't you have at least a homie or two or three who was, packing the jammy? Why wouldn't you have them with you? I don't get it. He was walking to his car by himself, murdered. Boom, took his jewels, blitzed. Now here we go with PNB Rock. The same thing. It's almost scripted. It's almost scripted. It's almost like, I dare you. It's like you don't believe it can happen to you. And even somebody like me, you want to know what my watch is? Let me tell you what my watch is, because I can't afford no watch. This is a watch I wear. This old beat up, this is a G-Shock. This old beat up G-Shock watch cost $100. Okay? It's already, but this is the watch. I'm just saying, even I know if I had thousands and thousands and thousands of dollars like that, even I know not to go to these places. For one, to sit down, and for two, shining like that. Listen, Lauren London is one of the most beautiful women on the planet. She always has been. Everybody wanted Lauren London when they first saw her. She had a baby by Lil Wayne. Everybody still wanted Lauren London. She ends up, marrying a rapper. You know what I'm saying? This guy is a rolling 60. He's doing good. He's doing good in the hood. You think people aren't still jealous of him because he's got a baby and he's married to Lauren London? You think jealousy? Listen, and when you even look in the Bible, you even look at, the men in the Bible, saying, hey, Sarah, tell these people that you're my sister so they don't kill me, because she was so beautiful. There's women on Instagram, and when I look at those women on Instagram, I automatically know, even if that woman liked me a whole lot, I can't be with that woman. I can't be with her and walk around with her, because somebody's going to start a fight just because of her. Why? Because it's happened to me before. When you go around a bunch of men and they don't have a woman that beautiful, they're going to start a fight with you. And you could lose your life just because your woman's that beautiful. The jealousy is severe, and it's always been like that with Black people. They see you with something that they want, they will go ahead and make sure that you're not going to live that life if they can't. If she doesn't want you or she doesn't want them, then she's not going to be with you. So I've had, men challenge me because I was with beautiful women. And that's my thing. Women have always been my thing. Money, not so much. I don't have a lot of money. But the females, I've always had a lot of, females around where I could, the homies was, they ain't have no woman. I'd be like, okay, let me make a phone call, and I could send a girl to their house, or say, come hang out with me, and we go somewhere, and I'd have a couple girls come with us. I was always that dude. Even with my average looking self, it's just because that's just the way it was for me. But nonetheless, so I don't understand why PNB Rock came out like that, knowing who he is, knowing the status, knowing where he was, knowing he had a beautiful woman with him, knowing he had thousands of dollars on him, knowing he had jewelry shining, knowing he had a nice car. I don't get it. I don't understand it. People like that man should be able to go where he should be, but that's not the day in the life we're living. We can't go where we want to go. We can't do what we want to do without another black man confronting us. You can't do it. You cannot do it. People are shooting people at random. Chicago, 30 people shot. In another city, 20 people dead in one night. That just happened recently. We can't, because there are demons out there hiding inside of people, and they just want to see you fall. They want to see you dead. They will shoot you, and then they will rob you. They will knock you out, take your keys, take your car, and knock your girl out, or just take your girl. There's stories of men just walking up on a couple and flashing the jammy and taking the girl and then running the train on the girl, and the dude can't do nothing except go home. This stuff is happening. We have to wake up to it. And like I said, I don't understand for the life of me why he would walk out the house like that. But I know, you have this image to portray. And listen, you young brothers, now I'm 54. I'm grateful every day that I wake up. You young brothers ain't making it to 30. Y'all not making it. All this violence that y'all pitching, all this devilry that you're pitching, and these demons are listening to you. These lords of violence, they're listening to you. These things that you can't see, they hear what you're saying, and all these wolf tickets that you're selling in your rap music. And then when somebody comes up and starts, the spirit knows itself. The violence breeds violence. So, if you're talking this kind of stuff, eventually it catches up to you. Now, you can pray for the brother, and stuff like that for his family. But there's listen, it's once a week now. It's gonna happen again to somebody we know. And the thing about it is, you can't shine like this and then let everybody know where you're at. Pop Smoke got done like that. When he got his package, he flashed his address. Once they seen that address, boom, they went in. That was it for Pop Smoke. I was liking Pop Smoke too, and I'm gonna tell you something else. This whole East Coast, West Coast thing that was started back in the 90s, with Snoop Dogg, Death Row, and P. Diddy, and that whole thing that was going on, that never stopped. It's still going on. And now it's going to get worse. So, like I said, I'm a civilian. I'm not in the game. I'm a watcher. But for you cats that are in LA, listen, if you have friends in New York, it's for you rappers. If you got friends that are in New York and you're going there to do concerts, stay in touch with those friends and let them know that you're coming there first. Don't just show up. Don't just show up. Let people know that you're coming and that you're going to need protection. Let them know, because listen, the blood is in the water. That man was out with his family, and there is no more disrespect than that. That man got done in front of his woman. And listen, that's going to run deep. The hatred for that, listen, there's going to be blood. This is just a fair warning from, some dude on the internet who's seen it over and over again, to you young brothers who are living this life. I'm telling you, cats from LA, if you're going to New York or if you're going to Philly, do not go there unannounced. Go there with somebody because you don't want to look. Remember Young Dro? Young Dro was on the tour bus. He said we were in. He said you just can't go to somebody's city. We were on a tour bus and they shot through his tour bus and killed his friend. You cannot show up in any city you want to just because you think you're who you are. There are no rules. Mothers, children, There's these demons will take everything that you know and turn it into dust. And if I was some of you, I know this is how y'all make your money, but I would keep it on the internet. I wouldn't even go to concerts. I wouldn't even do concerts. There was a concert done here, a local rapper, a local rapper. Is at a club I used to go to some 20 years ago. He was up on stage. He came out. That was the last time he came out on stage. They got him right there in the club, right there. As soon as he popped out on stage, bang. And that happened here. So I'm just, like I said, you rappers are falling off. Not you hip hoppers, but you rappers. You're being fooled. You're being fooled. You're being tricked into, by the money, by the deals that they're giving you, but you don't know that you're selling yourself to these demons, to these devils, and you're talking about you women and hold this and be that, and you got money and you drive this and you drive that, and a lot of you don't even own the stuff that you're bragging about. You don't own it. You still owe people for the jewelry that you're wearing around your neck, and then you're finding out that a lot of these jewelers are ripping you off. They're charging you for jewelry that's fake. And some of you are finding out you spent $400,000 or $500,000 for this jewelry and it's fake. Like you guys don't even know. Some of these diamonds are manufactured. Some of these diamonds are they're not coming out of the ground in the Congo somewhere. The Dutch control the diamond. That's why you don't buy your girl a diamond ring, because the Dutch control the diamonds. But they actually control the people who are digging for diamonds, and they pay them $1 a day. And here's like a 9-year-old boy is in there with his father digging for these diamonds. And if they try to get away with them, they have a standing army over there, and they're taking those people out and try to get away with the diamonds. It is a whole bloody deal. And if you're wearing that around your neck, you're representing that. Like, this is why some of these Africans can't understand African Americans and why they hate you for it, because they know that those diamonds are blood diamonds. And some of those diamonds that you're wearing are manufactured. They're created. They're not real diamonds. You guys are dying for this lifestyle. Now, as far as his woman is concerned, they're saying that she gave up the address, and they're trying to blame her. And people are like, no, don't blame her. And here's the thing. Some people think he was dry-lined by her, meaning she didn't mean to do it. It just happened like that. That's the way I'm looking at it. Like, these women who are dating these rappers, who have all this money, and everybody knows the rules. Even the civilians know the rules. We know the rules. You don't walk around with thousands of dollars on you. You don't do that. You don't walk around with big gold chains, driving a nice car, and then go into an area where everybody's hungry. We know this. With a beautiful woman, you don't do it. Even civilians know that. If you order out. That's it. You stay away from these areas, or you go to a nicer place. Civilians know this. We also know if you go somewhere like that, you do not drop your address. It's the worst thing to do. Because listen, even the police are watching your Instagram. This is how the police are catching people. Not only that, the feds are watching your Instagram. They're watching your Facebook. They're watching your Snapchat. They're watching everything you do, especially when you go live. The police are down into you. Now, and the government has a hip-hop dossier on every rapper that ever existed. They know who you are. They know where you live. They know how much property you have. They know the last hamburger you ate, where you ate it. They're watching your money. They watch everything that you do, everything. This is why every now and then you'll see a rich rapper go to jail. And you're like, why did they go to jail? And so the government can extort them. That's why. Or they'll have some kind of case that comes up out of nowhere. Just pop up out of nowhere. You know what I'm saying? Some girl said that Jay-Z did something. Jay-Z had to spend $1.5 million just to prove that he didn't do it. You think that's an accident? That's an accident? No, it's gonna happen again. They'll come out and say Jay-Z did something else. Watch probably about 2 years from now. And he'll have to go to court and fight that case too. He'll have to spend $1 million, $2 million, whatever, just to fight that case, because that's how the government works. Young Black went to a bank and withdrew $250,000 of his own money. The teller called the police. The police showed up before he got out of the parking lot and arrested him. And he was like, "Why am I being arrested?" They put him in handcuffs, sat him on the curb, and took $100,000 of his money. Did he get it all back? I don't know. But, there are government forfeitures where they can do this. The police can come up and take your money, and then they'll tell you, "Look, you're going to have to fight it out in court to get your money back," even though it's your money. They've made like $68 billion doing this to be just regular people. You think they're not going to do it to you? Why would the teller call the police on money that's his? You can look at his account. He didn't rip off the bank. And then the police put him in handcuffs and then take his cash. Why would that happen? I'm telling you, it's all a setup. It's all a setup. But, so we don't think that the girlfriend did it on purpose, but she knew the rules. You do not drop the address of where you're at present. You tell people where you've been. This is how a lot of smart rappers move. You're like, "Yo, I'm at the so-and-so," and that was a day ago. You know what I'm saying? That's how you do, because people will show up looking for you, meaning to do you harm. So I didn't know PNB Rock. I didn't listen to his music, but I know he is a cat out of Philly. I'm from Pittsburgh. Big ups to PA. And I've seen this happen over and over again. And I just thought I would chime in, because a lot of you brothers are just not getting it. And a lot of you women are some of you are complicit on purpose, because some of you are actually setting men up. That's another thing. Some of you guys who are going on these dating apps, these women are setting you up to get robbed. And now what's happening is the legal system is cracking down on the females, because they know the females have a lot to do with this. And they're giving these females like 20 years straight, day for day, because the females are causing these men to lose their life. So you women out there, if you setting up anyone, watch yourself. Because once the government finds out that you're backdooring people, and people are losing their life, they're going to get a hold of you. And when they do, you're going to do a lot of time. Once again, sorry to hear that another rapper has lost his life. It's your boy Tone. I'm out.